What's going on, everybody? I'm Cade Morehouse with Cade Side Press, and today I'm joined by my good friend Archie Colgan. Archie, how we doing, my brother?
Good, man. It's been about almost 2 weeks, a week and a half since the fight. Um, yeah, I got back to training this week. Took last week off. I always try to take 1 week down, just get away from the gym. But I'm, back to training, and yeah, everything's good.
Man, only a week or two off, and you're already back to the gym. That's crazy, man. Is that something you always do if you walk away from a fight healthy?
Yeah, I always try to force myself. Honestly, if I didn't force myself, I'd be back in the gym that week. But I forced myself that first week to do nothing and like get away from the gyms. I don't even go stop into a gym and like show face. Like I just get away, get hungry for it again. I want to get there. And then that next week, yeah, it's not like I'm back into full training, but yeah, today I did I did 2 workouts today.
So two workouts isn't full training for you? That's just
Oh,
something light or what?
I mean, they weren't as hard. It was a light day. Like there were 2 workouts, but they weren't that crazy. But yeah, I'm on top of it. It's like from now, I gotta focus. It's not like I get some big break. I'm expecting to fight again for the belt, and that's a tough fight. I need to make sure I keep myself in good shape and stay sharp.
Yeah, you're fresh off a win off a tough guy. Voice is no slouch. I wanted to ask you how did you feel in that fight? And lengthy dude. So did you have problems with his length at all and incorporating your wrestling or
No, I mean I kind of was trying, not trying. I was trying to force this like exchange on our feet more, and I wasn't trying to like wrestle this guy. Like eventually I knew they were gonna go down to the ground, but I wasn't trying to be like Mr. Offensive Wrestler, like out there just taking a bunch of shots. Like I know I could do that to him. Um, and I know I could have like started that from the beginning and just like came out, got a couple exchanges and then just shot right away and got a takedown and just stayed on top. But I've been working a lot on my feet and just like distance recognition. And then like landing power shots, and I did that really well. And then once I took him down I think I took him down with like 20 seconds left in the first round. I wasn't on top the whole time. I took him down and I ground and pound, and I've been working heavy on my ground and pound. I've been doing extra ground and pound, probably 4 days a week this whole camp. And the camp was like 12 weeks because it got extended that like, extra four. So when I got on top and I ground and pounded him a little bit, man, I opened him up quick. It was 15 seconds on top, I opened him up. So when I got on top the second round, and then I opened up even more in third round, I was just like, it was obvious that I probably should have focused on that a little bit more. But like I wanted to get out there and get in a fight and get in exchanges and see some things.
yeah, I mean, like when you were wrestling him at all, did you feel like when you're on the ground with him that the threat was there for, with his jiu-jitsu, or did you feel pretty, in control of that fight wherever it went?
I mean, yeah, aside from the guillotine that he got me in, um, no. Yeah, I was no, I felt very secure and strong in all the positions. Like he has that really good sweep where he traps the far arm and then sweeps people through, and he's like sweeped everybody with it. But I did my due diligence and learned that the offense and defensive side of that. I'm not doing that to anybody. I'm not like learned it like that, but I learned it enough to understand like the mechanics of it, and then I really honed in on the defense of it. And yeah, it just wasn't going to happen. On top of, I have such a strong, I'm a 5'8", 55 pounder. I have such a strong base in general. It was just going to be hard to do it to me without the techniques. And then I learned the techniques. It just wasn't going to happen. But the guillotine, that one was definitely, worrisome for a second.
Well, it was kind of a long layoff for you, so I mean, like, were you excited to finally get back in there? And how did it honestly feel like coming off that layoff? Like when you finally step back in the cage, you just like, man, like haven't felt this in a minute, or like, what was
Yeah.
the feeling behind that?
Yeah. I mean, I think that was 8 months. That's the longest layoff I've had in my entire career so far, and it doesn't feel like 8 months. Honestly, I don't feel like I fought that long ago, but it's been a long time. Um, It felt great. That was the best I've ever felt. Like the whole week, really, the whole fight week, and walking into the cage, being in the cage, like that was the best I ever felt. I feel like sometimes you trying to like artificially manufacture like these emotions out of yourself because it's fight time, and I need to be this, I need to be more focused, I need to be more angry, I need to be like all of these things. And I was just like, that whole process of like leading into the fight, backstage and getting my hand wrapped, I would just like, just be calm, man. Like if some of your best performances to date, not some of, like your best performances are in the gym, when you are, sparring with some of the best guys in the world, let's replicate that. I'm not walking into sparring like angry guy and trying to like force these emotions out of myself. I just go in there and I feel good. I get a light little sweat going. I get a good stretch, listen to some music, and then I get after it. And I go 5 hard rounds with some of the best in the world. So I was like, man, let's just manufacture that. Just rinse, repeat, and I just try to do that. And I felt the most alive that I've ever felt. Like it felt present. It didn't feel anything fake about it. Um, yeah, I'm learning some new things every time I get in there.
I wanted to ask you, and I don't think I've ever asked a fighter this, and I've always felt like this is a good question. When you at the ceremonial weigh-ins, when you stare into another man's eyes, do you take anything away from those face-offs, or is it just like, it's a fight, anything can happen, or do you really feel something when you finally stare that man in the face, weight's made, and it's time to go?
Uh, yeah, it kind of depends, honestly. Like there's been times where I looked this person in the eyes and I was like, yeah, he bringing it. Like, yeah, I could see it in his eyes. Like, we got to fight tomorrow. Like he's coming from my head. And then there's been other times where it's just like, it's not that I don't think he's bringing it, but it's just like he's probably similar to me. It's like we're just, this is part of the process. We're staring each other in the eyes, and it's nice to be this close to you finally, and to like be on a mutual ground where we're both like against each other, and um, yeah, I would say uh, I enjoyed that part probably more than anything. Fight week is like finally, looking each other in the eyes and just acknowledging each other finally that this is what's about to happen tomorrow is about to happen, and we're both aware of it, and it's very close. It's very kind of an intimate moment, but I try not to like read into any of that stuff too much, man. I just try to go out there and show up and fight, man. I don't try to show too much about like how he felt during weight or face off or something.
Last thing I'm gonna ask about this whole fight night thing before we move on to the next topic is what's up with them not giving my man the mic?
I would feel bad if they didn't, if I was the only dude, but it seemed like they weren't giving anybody mic time, bro. I don't know what that was. Hey, I said I looked around. I was like, "Where's my mic? Where's the mic at?" And then the camera guy was sitting down. He was like below me. He was like right here, right here. And I was like, "What?" I
I
was
saw
like,
you
"All right."
say that. That's why I wanted to ask that question.
I was like, "Where's my mic? Where's my mic?" And then I looked out. I looked down. The guy was out there. He said, "Right here, right here, right here." I was like, "All right, I'll talk down here then."
That is funny, bro. That is funny. Um, Usman Nurmagomedov, man, this is a fight that is definitely going to be the toughest test of your career.
Yeah,
And
no doubt.
I kind of want your thoughts on it, man. Like I'm gonna be honest with you, I've been following your career for a good amount of time now, and I asked you a couple years ago, but I think I said in 2 years or something like that, do you think you'd be world champion? And here we are, like 2.5 years
Yeah,
later, and you're about to fight for a world championship.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of things about this. So I think at some point before I was even signed with Bellator officially, I had said that when I'm 30 years old, I'm going to claim my first world title. Right now I'm 29. I'll be 30 by the time I fight for it, but I turn 39 or 20 or 30 this month, in a couple weeks here. Um, so I think it's gonna align, and with him, I mean, he's a great fighter. There's not much like there's nothing bad that I can say about the dude. You know, he's well rounded. He knows how to wrestle. He knows how to grapple. He's got really good kickboxing. He keeps you at the distance that he wants to keep you at, and touches you a lot. So you know, those are all things that me and my crew got to come up with plans and structure things about. But I think I have the tools and the assets to, uh, you know, get the job done.
Do you think he is? Do you think he's just as advertised? Like, do you think when you think about Usman Nurmagomedov, I mean, of course he's a lot younger in his career, younger than guys like Islam and Habib. But do you think when it comes to his grappling, and then it's almost nearly the same, and then maybe even more dangerous just because of the level of striker he is?
Um, no, I don't know. Yes, I think he's as advertised. I think he is as good as people think he is, and I think he's as dangerous as people think he is. To say like that he's more dangerous than like Khabib in his time is like no, because like what made Khabib so dangerous is like how dominant, how strong he was in the grappling, and like he was going to take you down. He was going to ground and pound, and like whether he got the submission or not, like you knew he was going to take you down. It was going to be super hard to get back up, and he was going to ground and pound you. That's kind of to me, that's kind of hard to replicate for like a striker. You know, it's like there's always puncher chances when you are in grappling. It's very hard to like have the puncher's chance. You know, it's like what are you going to throw up a submission or a triangle choke on Khabib? It's like he's like so strong there that I don't agree. So, um, but yeah, I think you know it's like he's the shadow of that, and his skills are what people think they are. He is that good. I believe so. I think he's that good. I think he's well rounded. But you know, to compare it to like Khabib, yeah, I don't think so.
So a lot of people, so like what I'm saying too is like a lot of people when they fight, for instance, Islam,
Yeah.
they they go into a fight with Islam, they're going to do everything they can to keep it on 2 feet. But I guess my question to you is when you go into this fight, you feel like you could 100% grapple and match his grappling.
Yeah, I think that he is going to get taken down. That's going to happen. And in my head, leading into the camp to build it to this, I also believe that I'm going to get taken down. Like, I'm not saying that. I think I'm a better wrestler than him for sure. That's not a question. But this is MMA, and I believe that he can take me down in an MMA fight. And he probably is going to take me down. I'm prepared for that. I'm also going to take him down. And we'll see if that same preparation is in his behalf.
When do you feel this fight will take place? And do you think there's any possibility that it could be here in the US, or do you think it's going to be probably overseas?
I think it's probably going to be like October, maybe November, something like that. Definitely this year. And nah, I mean, I'd love for it to be somewhere in the States, but nah, I doubt it.
You think it'll be maybe in like probably Saudi or something like that?
Yeah, Saudi or Dubai, something like that.
My last question about this fight is just kind of how do you feel it's gonna go? Like what do you like if you picture this fight, let's say this fight was happening next week, like just mentally like are you prepared for this big moment? This is a big moment for you.
Yeah, I mean, you better be. Otherwise, you're gonna get caught up in deer in headlights, and you know the 25 minutes is gonna pass by like that, or you know it's shortened if you're not prepared.
This will be your
Um,
first 25-minute fight, right?
yeah, correct, for sure.
How do you
Yeah,
feel about that?
I feel good. I think that a 25-minute fight favors me when the same person has to go against me. You know, sometimes when you go sparring with these people and you go these multiple rounds and they get to go with somebody else and somebody else and somebody else, like that's a little bit different because people don't fight the same like pace and pressure that I fight. But when people have to do multiple rounds with me, I think it favors me more than it favors them.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say to you, Ollie's been doing this a long time, so I doubt what I'm about to ask. Even like I feel like I know what you're gonna say, but I think you guys are two of his youngest, bright, up and coming, like not up and comers, but young fighters. That are gonna fight each other. Do you think it puts him in I guess, an awkward position to make a fight like that and have to do business like that between two of his young fighters that he cherishes? And what is the matchmaking process behind that, or like the business aspect behind that, when you have two clients that are going to fight each other for a world championship?
Um, I think yeah, it's more awkward than a normal matchmaking, moment for him. But no, I mean he's done this so many times where he's had to matchmake his guys against his guys because he manages the best guys, and the best guys are, if they're the same weight class, they're gonna have to fight each other. That's just how it goes. So, um, yeah, I think what's his best interest, what's Ali's best interest, is what my best interest is, and what Ali's best interest is also what Usman's best interest is. So, he's got his job to do and make sure that, you know, the best for both of us is happening. And then he just got to do his job and just take a step back and say, all right, you guys got to figure that out now. And I don't think it's awkward for him. I think obviously he would rather not his two guys fight, especially, young guys who are, promising futures. But like we all knew this was like what the goal was. When they called me at the beginning of the year, PFL sending me emails and they wanted me to do the tournament, I called Ali and said, yo, is the potential to fight Usman for, the Bellator belt still an option? And he said, yeah. And I said, okay, well, then I want to do that, because that was my goal when I signed the Bellator. I want to be champion. And if that's still the opportunity, that's the opportunity. So, I mean, we all knew that this was the outcome that was going to happen. Granted, I go out there and do my job and get the wins that I needed to get. We knew that was going to happen as well.
Couple more questions and then I'll let you get out of here. I see you down at Trevor's a lot, Trevor Whitman's gym a lot, and I see you really putting in the work with the high level guys. My question to you is, how has being around that team and just that atmosphere helped develop your game? I've seen you. I feel like I see you down there a lot. Like, just like, maybe I'm wrong, but just like on Instagram, like I feel like you're always there putting the work in.
Yeah, I mean that's my main training gym. That's where I'm at. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Like, yeah, I'm there all the time. That's like my main spot where I train. So Trevor is obviously the owner of the place and he runs that. But he has a very good relationship with Justin Salas, who was my coach, who was taught underneath him, and they work really well together. And we're all like really one big team. We're just one team that trains at Onyx, and it's like Onyx, and we're all just there, and we all do our own things, different times and stuff. So yeah, I'm there all the time, and yeah, training with those guys, just learning from the best since I was an amateur, has played out to like, yeah, I mean the position that I'm in. It kind of, the writing's on the wall. I don't think I got here all by myself in my talents and my skills. It's taken a lot of effort from my teammates and coaches that have been around me, and the energy and the vibes from the people that are around me to help, see the things that I'm doing wrong and correct them, and then see the things that I'm doing right, and then, help boost and build those things up. So it's definitely a big part in being there around those guys. They've taken great care of me and helped me, kind of flourish into, title contention.
What's your favorite part about being a part of that team? Because one thing I noticed about that team is you guys are always having fun. But
Yeah.
you mean business, but you're always having fun. And it kind of just feels like a loose environment.
Well, I think like we're just a team, and it's not like some of these other teams where, um, like, okay, so like for an easy instance, when you get people the same weight classes, like you're a team, but you also kind of can see them as a competitor, you know, where a lot of these teams are like that. I don't see my competitor, I guess, would be Gaethje, and I just don't see him as a competitor. Not that like our skills aren't like that to be competitors against each other, but just like, that's like big bro to me, and I just don't. like if I was put in the position to choose the fight, I just wouldn't do it because, it's like he's done a lot for me. And, so like when you like, I think we all have a camaraderie similar to that. Like we just all have got love for each other and we want to help each other. And however that can be is what it is. And we have a lot of fun doing it. Like it gets fun. You get in the tough sparring sessions and everybody's serious for a little second when you're sparring, but then right after that, it's like, yeah, we're back to having some fun. And sometimes even like during wrestling, especially with like Justin, man, he's a goofball, man. This guy's always trying to smile and make laughs and like have fun. It's just, man, we just have a good camaraderie. Like everybody understands that we all want to be our best versions, but we can have a little bit of fun on the way doing it.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you too. I know he's been there a little bit now, but what's it like to, even add a guy like Corey Sandhagen to the team, like just that high level of a guy, and he just switched camps because he wants to evolve his game and get better.
Yeah. I mean, so weirdly enough, like it sounds like he switched camps, but he didn't really switch camps. Like he still trains and spars at the same place. He just is now head coached under Trevor. So now he just does his workouts at Onyx. So like a couple of workouts for him changed, but we all still are sparring core group with the same people he had been. Like we've all been teammates of Corey's for those guys, Justin and Corey, like for years since way back then. And for me, like since I started this, I've always like still been a teammate of Corey's. Now he's just like over here at Onyx more and like, yeah, and we just see each other more often because he's at Onyx now. But it's been great. Like Corey just has kind of a different mind of thinking about things than traditionally I would say like me, Kamaru, and Justin do. We all come from a wrestling background, so and he does not. So he like views things from a different perspective than I say we do. Like we got that typical head down, go to the wall, whatever the workout is, you got to run through this and figure it out. And he just like sees things almost from a different perspective. More, I would say like more martial artsy than we do. And we're like more competitor athlete view, like we're very competitive and athletic driven. And he's almost like more view aspect of like a martial artist. So yeah, I mean, he was like great addition, and like I love learning from him and sparring with him. He gives me different problems because he's smaller and faster than the guys I normally go with. So yeah, Corey's the man.
Three more questions, and I'll let you get out of here. I promise.
Oh,
What
all
is
good.
it like? What is it like having Kamaru Usman by your side? I actually noticed that he's been very supportive of your career.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's been. I mean, the relationship is just crazy to begin with. Like when I first started watching, well, I've been watching MMA my whole life, but in my college years, I kind of like pulled back from watching MMA too much, and just like yeah, I just was trying to like focus on wrestling, and then when I started like watching back in heavy after I graduated from college, like he had just won the belt and he walked out to this African song. I just came back from Africa visiting my family, and he walked out to this African song called Soko. And I was like, yo, this dude looks dope. And then he whooped on Tyron Woodley, became champion, and then became my favorite fighter. Shortly after that, I started like my MMA journey and started becoming a fighter, training a little bit, took a couple of fights, turned pro, and then come to find out, my favorite fighter becomes my training partner, my teammate. And I'm like, oh shit, this is crazy. This guy is right here. And then years later, this guy becomes like close friend, mentor, brother, like real close. So like it's been great to learn from him. He has just like a he has such a good like dictionary of knowledge of MMA, like the way that he views it. Obviously, being at the top, he had to have viewed it differently than other people. So to be able to like pick that brain from a young MMA age, and to like learn from him and just kind of have that in my back pocket to be able to, when I have situations that pop up, whether it's fighting related or just like life related, just be like give him a quick call, be like, hey, what do you think about this? Like, be able to have that in your back pocket and like get that perspective. I mean, it's like I mean, it's priceless, really. I mean, look at all the other guys who have that same sort of thing and they become successful. Like it just the writing's on the wall. Usman has the same thing. He has Khabib and Islam and these other guys. and they're in his back pocket. Whenever he needs that, they're there. They're there to help him. So like, I mean, it's just the writing is on the wall with some of these people, and myself included.
How cool is that, man? That's such a cool story. I think that's very cool, man. Like that's dope. But last two questions. Josh Van and Brandon Royval, did you watch that fight?
Yeah, of course, that was a banger.
Brandon Royval, man. Speaking of Colorado MMA, man, like that's just that's to go out there and fight the number, I think 11th or 12th ranked guy is the number one guy and really put on that type of fight. I mean, just man, that has to be fight of the year so far.
I know. I mean, yeah, he earned his name that night. He got, his name Raw Dog. Man, he earned it that night, man. He came out there crazy. I like recently in the probably last, I don't know, 6 months to a year, like I've been seeing Brandon at training and stuff. Super cool dude. He's down to earth. I respect him, and like just like he just seems like a really good guy. Like just a normal Denver dude who's like, if you were from Denver, like you would know what I'm talking about. Like he's just a Denver dude. Like he's just a down dude like that. And it's a tough fight. I mean, all respect to him for taking that against really nothing to gain from it. Maybe a title shot, but he could have took that against anybody else with less to risk. He had a great fight. I mean, that last 15 seconds really won it for Joshua Van. He was doing good things outside of that last 15 seconds, but I feel like it was a very close fight, and then he got dropped right there at the end and sealed the deal. Some judge had it 30-27, I think, and I was like, I don't think it was 30-27, but
Nah. I think if honestly, I thought if he didn't get clipped at the end of the last round, that it was po possibly his win. Like it
that's
could
what
have,
I thought in my head. But
yeah, like I thought it was that close where it was like if he didn't get clipped at the end of that round, it was possibly it could have went the other way, in my
yeah,
opinion. But
yeah.
it was a close fight nonetheless. But anyways, my last question to you is if the fight happens in October, end of the year, whatever, by the end of this year, will Archie Colgan be Bellator world champion?
And no, yeah, bro. Of course. I believe in myself wholeheartedly. There's no question about that. Um, he's very good. I'm gonna have to dot my I's and cross my T's. I'm gonna have to have a hell of a training camp and be focused and prepared for 25 minutes. And I'm prepared to do all of those things. So I'm willing to cross whatever bridge that I have to cross to go get that belt and make these dreams and goals become reality. So 2025 into 26. Yes, of
You
course.
pack the fam up for this one and take him out there?
I'm hoping so, but I don't know if my wife is gonna travel with the kids all the way to the Middle East. Depending, we'll see where it's at. If it's not that far, then yeah, for sure. If it's over there in the Middle East, then we'll see about that.
All right, man. Archie, it's always great talking to you, man. Always have a great time talking to you. Best of luck in your title fight. If we don't talk before then, and yeah,
My man, I appreciate you, Cade.
yeah, no worries, man. We out.